Y'all, welcome to the Style Chronicles. I thought I would do a little bit of a baby haul with you guys. I know I have not shared too much this pregnancy online, just on YouTube, and it's been a very difficult pregnancy from the beginning. Just a completely different experience that I had, different from what I had with my daughter and my son. I had very, and I hate to say unpleasant, but I had very pleasant experiences with both my daughter and my son, and this third pregnancy has just kind of taken everything negative that could go wrong and just kind of combined it into one pregnancy. I feel like all the bad that I could have felt with both of them, I'm feeling now. So it's just been very difficult, and I don't mean bad by, in terms of there's nothing wrong. It's just things and being comfortable and uncomfortable, and everything has just been completely different. So I'm okay, baby's okay, and that's the most important thing. And I'm just hanging in there for these last couple of weeks. But anyway, thought I would share a little bit of a haul. I get kicks because Babies R Us and Target, I don't know how, but they guessed I was pregnant, so they started sending me mailings again, baby related mailings. And so much of what they send you is, register for this, or, what you need for a baby, like the baby registry sheet, what you need to have, and all this stuff. And I thought, I was telling my husband the other day, with my daughter Eva, I was by the checklist, like baby needs checklist, whatever Babies R Us and Target told you to register for on their checklist, that's what I was like checking off the entire pregnancy to make sure I had everything. And then with my son, it was like just a couple more things. And then now I'm just like, you know what? I don't need anything off of those lists. So much of what is on there, I didn't even use with my daughter or my son. So it's kind of crazy. And the other thing too is when we learned we were pregnant with my daughter 7 years ago, my husband and I knew we wanted more than just one child. We knew we wanted multiple children. We knew we wanted more than just two even. So what we purchased at the time, we tried to make gender, neutral, and just things, we tried to make smart choices that would last us for, years. So that is probably where most of the, I don't need anything comes from, because I feel like I made smart decisions in the beginning that have lasted me all these years. So that is where I'm at right now, and that is why I don't really need the checklists. And also I think, for a third time mother, you pretty much know. I mean, every baby is different. Every baby's personality is different, but for the most part, caring for your baby and how you go about doing that does not change. So let me go ahead and get started for this baby. And I guess since I have not shared with anybody really that it is a girl, we weren't too sure. We had an ultrasound done and the baby's legs were crossed, and the lady says, we think it's a girl, but it might be a boy. You might need to wait until a later date to have another ultrasound. So I was rear-ended a couple of weeks ago in my car and had to go to the hospital to be monitored. And that was like the perfect time for another ultrasound. And they determined at that time that it was for sure a girl. So since then I have purchased just a couple of things that are feminine, I guess you would say, that are, girly. But yes, and my daughter is ecstatic. She is one of the only girls in our family. On my side of the family, my sister has two daughters, so she's got cousins that are female there. My son is the only boy. But on the other side of the family, with my husband's brother, he's got nothing but boys. And so on that side of the family, she's the only girl. And it's like, I need a girl to play with. So she's excited that she has that. And my son is, excited about a baby, period. He really did not care if it was a boy or a girl. So we're excited all the way around. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you. I did purchase pump stuff, like breastfeeding stuff, and then some bottles as well. I breastfed both of my children. I don't anticipate having a problem breastfeeding this baby. However, you never know. Things happen, and for whatever reason, you know, you may not be able to. And the other thing I like about having bottles on hand is I don't have to do every feeding. I can pump, and my husband can, you know, feed the baby if I need to leave for a little while, or, you know, not that I plan on leaving her for a while, but, you know, if I just need to be in the shower even when she needs a bottle, my husband can, you know, breastfeed her my pump milk. So I like having bottles on hand. So I did go ahead and get bottles. Bottles are one of the only things that we did not reuse with each child because they just get so nasty so quickly. So we've purchased new bottles for every child, and it's a good thing because with my daughter, I started with the Dr. Brown's bottle, and it worked extremely well. I had no complaints about that bottle, but it was just so many pieces to keep track of and wash, and you know, just a lot of upkeep for those bottles. So for my son, I used Tommy Tippy bottles exclusively, and those became my absolute favorite bottles. I love Tommy Tippy bottles. So for this baby, naturally, I purchased some more Tommy Tippy bottles, and these are the only 3 that I have on hand now. And of course, for a newborn, this is a very large size. It is 9 ounces, and you know, babies start with like 2 ounces, 4 ounces at a time. So it's very large, but nonetheless, it will be used the same way. And there's like a pink, a little teal, and then a purple bottle in there. So that was one of the first things I purchased. And then the other thing, of course, is a bottle brush because these are just, you know, to get every nook and cranny of the bottle when you clean it. So those 2 things were things that I determined I needed, absolutely needed. Next would be the pumping items, and I have a pump with my daughter. We bought a Medela pump, the large one. It was expensive at the time. It was the best one on the market, and that is what I used. It got me through a lot of breastfeeding hurdles. My daughter did not latch properly, so for a while I pumped and just gave her breast milk out of a bottle. And with my son, I didn't use it so much. He latched on perfectly from the beginning, so I would use it when I knew I was going to be out and I needed to express milk to have on hand for my husband or whoever was watching my son to feed him with. The other thing that I found the pump handy for was when you become engorged because your baby doesn't drink enough milk or you're just overproducing milk, it helps to alleviate that swollen, horrible feeling in your breasts. And the other thing too was I've had mastitis 3 times over the course of my children, and that is the most painful, horrible thing you can go through as a breastfeeding mother, and the pump helped a lot with that because you really have to empty the breast when you've got mastitis just to try to get it all out. That's not the absolute best way to kind of alleviate the mastitis, but that's the only way I'm going to tell you about. So, okay. So I did purchase new parts for my pump, and by parts, the valves and the breast like shields, and the little tubing that goes into it, because those just got really nasty after the last child, so I needed something new. And so this set, it also comes with 2 containers, but it's just, you know, a nice little set to have on hand just to change out my components. It's also nice if you rent a pump, because I know a lot of people do rent their pumps through their hospital or breastfeeding places, and they'll give you the pump, but you have to provide your own pieces. So this kit was one of those things that they offer to do that with. So that's what I went ahead and got there. And then because I need more storage for breast milk, since I do kind of produce a lot, I purchased an entire set of the breast milk storage solution. And all it is the little containers that you pump milk into that attach to your pump. And so, you know, just storage containers, because these you put in the fridge or the freezer, and they keep your milk. And I did have a lot of these with both my other children, but like I said, they get nasty very, very quickly. They just become unusable, and that, you know, milk smell in plastic is something you just can't get out. It's disgusting, really. So that's that. Over there, honey. Okay, so then next I used Mistela with my children when they're born. And by Mistela, it's the like skincare stuff. because I have a lot of skin allergies. My husband has a lot of skin allergies. So I've always been leery of just using, you know, anything, even Johnson & Johnson's, because of the fragrances and stuff like that. So I've always just used Mistela from the beginning, and then gone into using like Johnson & Johnson, you know, other brands. Burt's Bees is a great one also. But I start with Mistela every time. So that's what I did this time. And the first thing that I knew I needed to get was this Stalker Purifying Scalp Cream. And I use this with my son for the cradle cap, because, you know, babies when they're born, they go through this like dandruff phase where their head is just peeling, and it's dandruffy and it's scaly and white and gross looking and crusty, and it just looks horrible. It's not bad, it just looks really bad. So I use this with my son, and it worked extremely well. Literally, we only dealt with it for about a day or two using this. And what it is I would get the plastic baby brush that you get in the hospital and rub his scalp to get all the dandruff off, and then put this on there, and it would literally just kind of moisturize and keep it nice. And I did not use the entire thing with my son because it only takes a couple of applications, like maybe a day or two's worth of applications. I ended up passing mine on to somebody else who had a baby, and so I don't have any on hand, so I had to purchase that again. And then the rest of the stuff is simple, and I like this little set because you get everything in enough sizes that you can use and then move on to, you know, whatever other brand or, you know, something else that you prefer once you know your child is not allergic to it. But this is the hair and body wash, the Mistela hair and body wash for the baby. And then these two, which I like having full sizes of these. I do end up purchasing them again. This Hydra Baby, which is baby lotion. This, which I love, it's the Physio BB, which is the no rinse cleansing fluid. And I like this because all you do is put a little bit onto a towel or anything that you want to sponge the baby off with, and you don't have to bathe them completely, but they are clean and you don't have to rinse it off. So it's not soapy or anything like that, but it gets them clean. Which is great with a newborn who has an umbilical cord that has not fallen off yet. You know, the little, and you still want to bathe them, because I'm one of those that I take a bath every day. My kids take a bath every day. I just can't wrap my head around not giving a baby a bath every day, even though I know people say they don't need it, they don't, you know, whatever. To me, I need it, they need it, and especially with the milk that gets around their neck, that can get super nasty super quick. So this just comes in handy for that, because you just literally wipe. Way better than a wipey. I know you're probably thinking, why not use a wipey? Way better. Wipies leave weird stuff and don't necessarily get rid of all the smell. They just kind of mask. And then this, the Dermo Cleansing, see, I get short of breath. The Dermo Cleansing Fluid, which cleans and protects. It's just another cleanser. So there's those two or three things. The facial cleansing cloths, which are essentially just wipies, but they are meant for the face or areas around there like fingers and stuff. Wipies you don't really want to use to clean hands, especially on a newborn, because they get that into their mouths, and they're not the best when it comes to, you know, getting chemical in your mouth. So I like those better for that because it's just natural and doesn't have any, you know, bad things in it. Okay. So those things, and then this, which my daughter got for her sister. It's just a little rhinoceros, a little purple rhinoceros, but that's her first baby toy. And some clothes that I did purchase. Oh, that Mistela kit came with a little Mistela teddy bear. He's cute. Okay, and then like I said, some clothes that I did pick up because clothing, I've kept everything that my children have worn since birth. So I have a ton of girl clothes and boy clothes. I did have to weed out a lot of things that were milk stained yellow that are just beyond being cleaned or used again. But for the most part, a lot of stuff is still good that I can, you know, use. But I did have to purchase new onesies and stuff like that. So let me go ahead and show those to you. In the beginning, and I say in the beginning when they're newborns, I find that the easiest thing to do is to put them in these little bitty shirts, because these have the built-in mittens that you just wrap around their hands, so you don't have to have mittens separate. And with a newborn who has an umbilical cord, you're not having to mess with pulling, you know, anything over their belly or anything like that. And it's super easy. You just open the shirt, put it down, lay the baby on, put their hands in, and literally just wrap them and snap. So it's just easier, quicker, and not as fussy with a newborn. So I just prefer these. And these are the Carter's newborn. There's also, Gerber makes the same little shirts. So there's that. And I do these on like immediately in the hospital. And then, you know, once we get home. So there's those. The other thing is just little simple pants. These are the Carters, they're newborn size. Simple little pull-on pants just for the first couple of weeks, because if you do have to go out, which you will have doctor's appointments, you will have to take yourself or the baby too. So you do want something on the baby. I am one of those big fans of, I just had a baby, I need to be home. I don't need to be out at restaurants or, you know, anywhere. So I stay home literally for pretty much the full 6 weeks before I venture out and take the baby out with me. I don't know. It's just one of those like protective mama bear things where I need to be at my house. You know, my husband will go and take, like he took my daughter with my son. He took my daughter, you know, to go eat or just out to do things, and he'd bring food back for me, or, family would come over, you know, to my house. But for the most part, I did not leave the house for 6 weeks other than going to and from the doctor's office. And that is exactly what I plan on doing this time around. Although I do have the added responsibility of picking up my daughter from school and taking her to school in the morning, which I didn't have to do that with my son because my daughter was too small. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting having to get everybody ready in the mornings to get my daughter to school, but we'll see how that works. Anyway, next up, once we're past that umbilical cord, newborn baby stage, we're still, you know, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, I switch over to onesies because they're just easy. And you can have like 30 of them on hand and literally probably go through 20 of them in a day. So I did pick up a bunch of little onesies. These are Carter's. This is like a lime green. This one, which is a real pretty little mint. This one, which is a pretty little orange color. These, which, this one's a starfish. It's really pretty little starfish. And then seahorses, just cute little onesie shirts for them, or for her, rather, for them. Like I'm having multiples. My daughter still swears I'm having twins. She knows there's 2 babies in there. There's only one, but she still thinks so. And then this one's striped, just lime green with white. This one a stripe blue. I like it. It looks like a little rugby shirt. I thought that was so cute. This one, which is the same, stripe orange, and then stripe like a mint color. And then just a lime and a gray and white stripe. And you can tell I love stripes. I love lime. I like all those springy, summery shades. And then, because you can't just put them in onesies, right? I mean, that's just the new ones that I bought. I still have a ton from my daughter. I did pick up some new outfits because every baby needs new clothes. And let's face it, onesies won't cut it all the time. I mean, I don't know. When my family comes over, I might want the baby to be in something really cute versus a onesie. So I did pick up other stuff. The first up, this is a onesie. It says cute like mommy. And it's got a little pair of matching bloomers with it. Little shorts. And then it's a set of 3, so it's got a little shirt. With a little, see, that's super cute. And then a dress. It's a little blue with white polka dots. And it had a little cardi that goes with it. So it looks like that. Really cute stuff. That is all I purchased in terms of clothing, because like I said, I have a lot of stuff on hand still. The only other 2 things that I did pick up were for me, not so much for baby, but Bamboovies washable nursing pads, which nursing pads are very important if you're going to breastfeed because your breasts will leak. It doesn't matter what you do, they're going to leak. And there's nothing like wearing a t-shirt and having, you know, milk coming through and you're wet and it just looks odd. So these go in your bra and they literally absorb anything that leaks out. And these are washable. They have disposable ones too, but I find these to be better. And there's 6 pairs of these, 2 overnight ones, which are a little thicker. So those, and then the sea panty, which I have a Bella Fit and I have a compression belt, and this is just a C panty, which is made for cesarean sections, which you guys know that I've had 2 cesareans, so this will be my 3rd. But it compresses a little bit, but I like this little silicone panel right here, which you can't see, but here it is. Because that is where the incision is, and that is one of the worst things when you have a C-section is your underwear and everything you put on rubs you right there, and it is the most uncomfortable thing in the world. I found myself using actual pads and putting pads against that incision and then pulling my clothes over that because it just hurts. The only thing with that is that the pad, the cotton or the fabric of the pad, irritates your incision even more. So this will be a nice change from that, and I'm excited to kind of give that a go, give that a try. So that is my haul for baby number 3. I know, not too much stuff. It's like I said, I have stuff on hand already, and I know what I used with my other children and what I'm going to use this time around as well. So thank you so much for watching. Say hi, brother. John Abel wants to say hi. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.